Okay everyone, welcome back. We're going to continue our look at the operating system from Terramaster, TOS 3.1, the latest version. And this version here, what we're using is on that 4-bay device, the F4-220. It's a dual-core Intel CPU with 2 gig of DDR3 memory. So, once you've installed the device first time, as you saw in our other video, this is the operating system and the desktop that we see before us. Now, I can't stress this enough. I haven't installed anything extra on this. I've put no files on it. I've done nothing to this device. This is what you will see when you set the device for the first time. So first things first, there's our file manager. So if we go into it, and once again, one of the first things that hit me about this is the fact that this device is more like a computer in the other NAS desktops that we will look at later on. This one, you have to double click everything to action it. Now whether you like that or dislike it, I'm not sure. But still, nevertheless, I quite like the idea that there's a double click. Now, as you can see, the file manager, anyone that's ever used a file manager in their life will be aware of this device. Now, utilising this, it's no different than many other file managers you've used in the past. If we go to public here, we can set up a folder. Let's call this one Pictures. Why don't we create another one? We'll call that one Movies, and maybe one more. We'll call that one Music. Now say we want to add files and pictures to this. Once again, I've never done this before, but I'm going to try and use this as intuitively as possible. We go into our pictures folder and we can click upload. Now from here we got remote download, where presumably we can download from a remote server. But for now we'll look at uploading. So here's our own folder here. We'll go into my pictures folder here. Here we go, there's some pictures from a Christmas party that I attended. There's all the files there, and then we click upload. And these files will start being added. There we go. Slight delay there. And that will start uploading these files directly to the NAS. And again, these are quite small files, so they will upload quite quickly. And I'm on a 1 gigabit Ethernet network. And the same thing goes for if you want to create movies and other files too. So once again, in that public directory right now, because the bandwidth is being utilised by uploading these files, you will always experience an ever so slight delay when flicking between files when uploading files, because you're utilizing a lot of your network activity doing uploads and downloads. So always remember that speed of flicking between files shouldn't be used as an example. While we're looking at these pictures in this file manager, we can do lots of things with them. So for example, if we want to download a picture, we right click and we can download. There's our option at the bottom. Again, because we're using Windows Explorer, there may be slight differences on your browser. Alternatively, we can right click and you can share this file with different people, so you can create a link that people can then utilize, and then you can set time limits for if you want to share whole albums or individual files. You literally just have to right click and be able to do that, and it will be distributed from the NAS as your server without any further backup. Alternatively, we can set a photo as a desktop manager. So let's use one of my pictures of Christmas and set that as the desktop wallpaper, and there we are, we've set it up as the desktop wallpaper. Maybe I should have adjusted the resolution a little bit. And of course we can archive them and find out more information about our pictures. And that's really, again, you can do it the same with music. If you want to upload some music, we can upload a music file. So say if we go to our downloads file and we search for an MP3, and we can add a file there, and that is now uploaded our music file, and the music file is in here. And we can either open directly from the NAS, download it if it's on our localized storage, and zip and archive and share just as we'd like. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to play music on this due to the recording software. And once again, last but not least, we've of course got movies and video. And the file manager, once again, is not designed to watch and view multimedia. It is designed as a file manager only. If you want to watch your media within the browser, we're going to need some more apps. So, which brings us to the Applications tab. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at the other ones, because the Applications tab is probably one that we're going to be lost on for quite a long time. Now, Recycle Bin, as I'm sure you can imagine, is where all our files that we delete end up in, and we can permanently delete, or we can go in and remove files from deletion. We can also go to the control panel and find out more about our device and set the device up completely, everything from RAID, iSCSI's virtual target, external storage, if we want to attach a USB drive. Update lets us manually search for new updates, but during the setup you could have set it up that all updates will be done automatically. And we can find out more and more information about our device. Again, this may not appear as sharp as the Synology or QNAP user interface, but this is definitely better than the likes of Thecus, and I'm really impressed by a lot of the hardware and indeed the software available on this device. Setting up users is really, really easy. You can set up whole user groups. So if you want to come up with a new user group, and let's call them family, and then we can add individual users to our new family tab. So we'll set that up, and that's it. We've created our new tab called family, and if we create individual users, we can assign all of those users to family, so we can call them Alan. And each one of those people can have their own individual password, which acts as their own individual login to the NAS, which is pretty impressive. So if we give this person a password, and just like earlier, it has to be a full strength password, all the rest of it. So we'll try that again. And again, you can assign them a certain amount of space. You can give them a limit of how many gigabytes that they can have. So let's say we give Alan a total of 2 gigabytes of storage, and we can assign him to the group family. And there you go, and you can set up his permissions, all the individual folders and files that he can access. All of these things are what sets this device apart from the truly budget devices from the likes of D-Link, because this does give you a user interface. It does give you access and more. And of course, we can set up shared folders that can be shared on the network via the likes of DLNA and more. And of course, more network services and setup that are a little bit more specialist, but anyone looking for a few more settings on their NAS, everything from Wacom LAN and stuff like that, something that's a little bit more bespoke about their setup, there's one for the fan, will find it on Terramaster. Like I say, one of the main reasons that we mention Terramaster both on the blog and here on YouTube and the other YouTube Span TV is because they are a brand that started very, very poorly, and yet they've accelerated to this point far, far quicker than it took the likes of Synology or QNAP to reach this point. So again, looking through all of these, there's our Fidelity, our SSL certificate and more. And once again, all of those control panel options are something you should really look into personally if you want to learn more about this device. Now, backup, of course, is if you want to set up different kinds of backup. So Apple Time Machine, real-time remote replication sync, that's backing up between NASes on your network. If you want to back up to a USB disk and set it up so it's time managed. And of course, backing up to another Terramaster NAS on your network. So if you buy more than one Terramaster NAS for your home, and you can get one of the super budget ones, like the F2, this gives you the ability to have a backup from your NAS, which I do recommend, because a NAS isn't a true backup solution. It backs up multiple devices, sure, it'll back up your phone, your tablet, your laptops, but ultimately, when you back up the devices, your laptop and more, you end up deleting the files from those portable devices, and that means the data on your NAS is no longer a backup. It's the original record. It's the only source of those files. That's when a NAS stops being a backup, and something people really need to bear in mind. So, moving away from the backup option, remote access, and this is where we set up accessing our NAS from outside of our home network. So that's all the devices in the home that are on the same router or Wi-Fi range. This gives you the ability to access your device remotely and externally. So you can come up with your own name. If we call this one NAS Compares, and this will mean it sets us up with remote access to our device. So now it will be NAS Compares .online. So this is our own login for this device, and setting up the DDNS only further strengthens that connection. This gives us all the ability to access our NAS remotely. So once again, we have to go into that. Of course, we'll have to set up our domain. We'll leave that for another video, because that's probably more than you need to learn in this video. But rest assured, you can access your NAS from both in the network and outside, and it is encrypted AES 256-bit. Now, the help section is where we get loads of our guides and help during setup. And of course, I do recommend that you do check out their online tutorials and more videos like this online. But nevertheless, it's nice to have access to this database in the NAS without the internet. All of this is built in on the NAS. As you can see from the top bar, we are still located on the NAS. This means we're not using the internet, we're using the network. So once again, having this on the network without the internet needed is quite useful and a nice security measure. Now, if we click on the Terramaster logo, Doesn't seem like a lot happens, to be honest. I kind of expected a drop down menu, and at the top right here we've got all the ways in which we can maximize and minimize the device, shut down, log out and switch users. Next to that we've got the language translation if you want to change the different ones, but it will check by your localized domain what your language is. Moving over to here, let's have a look at the app. Let's face it, a lot of you are going to wonder. Applications. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. Terramaster NAS has less apps than QNAP, Synology, Acer Store, Thecus. They have less apps. They've got about 35 apps in total at the moment, some of which aren't on this list. Some of them you have to download from their website or elsewhere. So if you are looking for a multitude of apps, this might not be the NAS for you, but nevertheless, we still have some great apps to choose from. MB, for example. MB Server, lovely. Let's install MB Server on our NAS. Next, Elephant Drive, the ability to sync your NAS up to a third-party cloud like Google Drive and more is something you can do. Let's install that. And we really are just one clicking and now it's installing in the background. Mail server, we want to set up an email server based on our NAS for all of our files. Wallop, let's install an email server. And there's more. All of these different applications. Transmission is a download server, so you can download all of your FTP, NZB, BT, HTTP downloads and more via this one application. If you're running a WordPress server, install a if you're running a WordPress website, install a WordPress server and run your MySQL via the NAS. Sugar CRM. Create your own bespoke customer record management system where if you are a business, if you've got lots of records of individual users and maybe you need to upload a CSV, Sugar CRM is for you. And there's so many more bespoke apps here for databases to go through. Then again, iTunes Server for those that want to run Sonos Play or a Bose system. iTunes Server will let you run all of your music on your NAS as an iTunes server. It will sort through the protocol, sort through all the names and the files, and therefore be picked up a great deal easier by your home multimedia systems. DLA Media Server. This gives our media, our TV shows, our music, our movies, our pictures and more on the NAS the ability to be picked up by our smart TVs, our laptops, our iPods and more. Carrying on, we've got so many different options here. We've got the Plex Media Server, probably one of the key ones, and maybe this will have an entire video unto itself. Because as a Plex Media Server, the Terramaster series of NAS are incredibly cost effective, though I have to recommend, and I can't stress this enough, make sure you get a NAS that is at least an Intel based CPU in dual core like this one. Do not go for a NAS any less than that because you will not see the benefits. It will not run Plex for a start and it won't transcode at all. And of course, Dropbox Sync being another third-party cloud platform will install that. And finally, antivirus that is completely free and gives you the ability to have antivirus on your NAS. All of these are included for free. So think about that. These are all free apps for your NAS. And again, all of these are installing right now as we record this video. So again, I genuinely do recommend Terramaster NAS for those on a really tight budget. I know it lacks some of the frills and features of Synology NAS and QNAP NAS, but it is definitely sharing third or fourth spot these days with a number of the brands out there that are just not innovating. And a hungry brand like Terramaster is definitely going to be one to watch in a year or two from now when their software becomes even more easy to use. So this has been our overview of the Terramaster software on an F4-220. If you want to learn more, do check out my next video that's going to be coming out featuring on some more of these apps in a little bit more detail. But do use the link in the description below to take to NAS Compares, where you can learn more about the Terramaster, where to get hold of one, and how it compares with other NAS brands. Thank you so much for watching.